Hey guys, I just got done beating Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. This is a Borderlands game. I played every Borderlands game. I didn't play every DLC, but I am pretty knowledgeable when it comes to. I know my stuff when it comes to Borderlands. Anyways, I just beat it. It was actually one of the easier Borderlands games, I would say. Even on hard mode, I didn't die very much. It was a lot easier than the other ones. It's a lot more forgiving. Uh, so how is it? It's fun. I really liked it. If I were to give it a number, I think I would give it like a 4 out of 5. So I was thinking about this after I beat it. So the main quests are just a lot worse than the side quests. Every side quest in the game is just a lot better than the main quest. The main quest isn't bad by all means, but most of the main quest is like 2 fights and then you're on to the next one. While the side quests are very creative and you do a lot more board game stuff and you meet a lot of characters and there's a lot of references and jokes in the side quests. While the main quest is mostly just you go from point A to point B and you fight a couple people here and there. So I would have to give the main quest like a 3 out of 5, maybe even a 2 out of 5. The main quest really is just fighting dudes and going from place to place. But the game, I'll say this, the game is gorgeous. So going from place to place is not that bad. The game is absolutely gorgeous, and it's not a hard game. If you do just the main quest, it won't take you long to beat it, maybe 2 days to beat it. And the gameplay is great. So, even though the main quest is just mostly fighting and a couple puzzles here and there, the puzzles always have hints to them, so they're pretty forgiving. It's pretty short, and it's just the difference between the side quest and the main quest is pretty massive. So I think I have to rate those two differently. I have to give the side quests like a 4 out of 5. Pretty much all of them are good except for a handful. And the main quest is just it's fun, but it's just not very creative. And they really push their limits on the side quests, while the main quest is just very basic and very safe. So I had to give like the main quest like a 2 out of 5. It's not that. It's fun. The gameplay is fun. The game is gorgeous. It's fun just doing anything in the game. I even recommend it to new players because it's you really don't have to know a lot about. You don't have to know anything about Borderlands to play it. So I think this is very new player friendly. It is super nerdy, but the nerdy stuff is like real fantasy stuff, like Game of Thrones. If you watch Game of Thrones, you can probably understand this game. It's very nerdy, but you don't have to play any of the Borderlands games to get it. And the game is pretty easy, so even if you don't get what's going on, you can probably still steamroll it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Everything was fun. If I were to compare it to the other Borderlands games, I would actually place it pretty high. I think Borderlands 1 has a deep place in my heart. I think Borderlands 1 is still the best. It's just Borderlands 1 doesn't really have any flaws to it. It's just a really solid game. Borderlands 2 is a classic, but playing the game over and over again does get kind of stale. So Borderlands 3 had great ideas, but the execution was pretty bad. So I think I'd put Wonderlands. I think I'd put it like, it's not as good as Borderlands 1. I would say it's about equal to Borderlands 2. I would say they're about the same fun. Borderlands 2 has a lot more endgame content, so Borderlands 2 is a lot longer. Borderlands 2 is a lot longer than Wonderlands. That game will take you forever to beat if you do everything. Wonderlands you can beat in 2 days. So the side quest will take forever. If you do the side quest, it will take you like a week to beat it. But if you do everything in Borderlands 2, it will take you like a year to do everything. So, but I think they're both fun. So yeah, if I were to rank them on a list, I think I'd do Borderlands 1 as the best game. And then Borderlands 2, Wonderlands, and Borderlands 3 on the bottom. What's funny about Borderlands 3 is the DLC is actually better than the main quests by a lot. So I would actually rank the Borderlands 3 DLC pretty high and the actual game pretty low. But I'll go back to Wonderlands. So Wonderlands is very creative. You explore the map on a board game, and there's a lot of secrets, and the secrets are fun. And there's a lot of board game references, and the fights are all very like basic. So the fights aren't really anything new, but the game, I really like the enemies in the game. The bosses were pretty fun. The bosses weren't important to the story, but they were pretty fun to fight, which was what matters to me the most. You know, if the bosses are fun to fight, that's great. I don't care if they're like important or not. So, anyways, I'll show you a couple more pictures that I found. There's only like 5 pictures on the internet of this game, even though it's been out for a while. So I can't show you a whole lot. I'll show you a few pictures of the game, try to get you to play it, and I think that'll be it. I think this game would be a lot more fun with friends. A lot of the quests seem to be multiplayer heavy. It's not like you have to press 2 buttons at the same time, that kind of multiplayer. It's more like the maps are really big and there's a lot of enemies, so it'd be a lot easier 2 players. And there's a lot of loot. There's so much loot that 1 player can't carry it all. So I feel like the game would be a lot better with more people. So I'll show you more pictures of the game. I really enjoyed it. So I think I'll show you the graphics of the game, because the game really does look gorgeous. It doesn't look gorgeous 100% of the time, but it's pretty sweet. So here's like the first level of the game. This is like the first thing you'll see. So this is the actual in-game like footage. This is like the first level, and you can actually climb everything. All those bridges you see there, you can if you can see something in the game, there's a pretty good chance you can go there. So all these bridges and stuff, you can actually go there and stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a ladder on the far right, which lets you climb up here and you can mess around. So this is the actual game graphics. I really enjoyed it. It looks really nice. It's hard to tell, but it's still cell shaded. It still has that famous Borderlands art style of everything being cell shaded. It's just a lot harder to notice in this image. So this is like the first picture. This is like the first thing you'll see in the game. So I really enjoyed it. So the next one will be much farther in the game, like halfway. This isn't really a spoiler. The story of this game doesn't impact anything. There's no Borderlands lore in this one. Like, you're not missing out. You're not missing anything by not playing it. There's no like lore in this one like at all. So the only lore I can think of is there's people visiting the planet. So the planet Pandora must have recovered or something, because there's people actually visiting it now instead of being scared of it. Okay. Here's the second image. This is actually in the game. This is one of the levels. This is actually like my least favorite level, because what you're seeing now is where where a lot of the quests take place at. Like, this building on the far right is where like 3 quests take place at. And this lower area, which I find more interesting, there's like one quest in this lower area, and there's like 3 quests right where this building's at. So you want to stay up on this above area most of the time on this map, but this above area is very basic, at least I think so. And this bottom area is a lot more interesting and a lot more creative. But the game doesn't want you to be down there. The game wants you to be up here. So this is actually one of my least favorite levels. But I really do enjoy the enemies of the game. Every enemy in the game is super fun to fight. There's no like shield guys where you can only shoot them in the back. So every enemy in the game you can just like walk up and shoot. Well, there is shield enemies in the game, but their shields are very small, so you can shoot around them. So the shield enemies aren't that big of a deal, and the shield enemies are very rare, so you don't have to deal with that a whole lot. But yeah, this is one of the levels in the game. This is probably my least favorite level, but I really do enjoy this bottom area. So even the worst level has a really fun bottom area to explore. It's a shame this top area is really annoying. So yeah. And none of the quests, I talked about, there's 5 quests here, and none of the quests are like important or anything, so you're not missing anything by doing them. But you do get really solid weapons if you do complete them, so you're not missing anything by skipping them. But if you do them, it'll make the game a lot easier. So that's just like a heads up. There wasn't a lot of images of this game on the internet. The Wonderlands reveal had more pictures than the actual game, which is strange to me. This game must have sold well, because they're already talking about a sequel. I think it's this one. Yeah. So this is one of the better parts of the game. These are your main characters, and they look really weird because you can customize them by quite a bit. There's a lot of customization options in the game, and there's like 7 classes to choose from instead of 4. There actually might be more than 7 classes. I didn't really count. But there's a lot of classes in the game and a lot of customization. So with that, I think there's a lot of replayability, and you can even change the voices out. There's like 6 voices. There's like 6 voices to choose from. So between the 6 voices, the 7 classes, and all the customization options, I really do think that this game has a lot of replayability. So I think I'm gonna play it more, even though I beat it. I will tell you now that I want to say I did everything in the game. It took me about a week, but I did everything in the game. I didn't unlock everything, but I did pretty much everything that the game had to offer. But I wouldn't mind doing that all again with a new class and a new look and new voice. I think that'd be interesting. And you can even change the personality of your character. So each interaction will be different depending on your like personality. The one problem I have with this game, I actually have a lot of problems with it, but I think my biggest problem with the game is very creative, but you can't actually make any choices in the quests or in like the fights really. Like the fights feel pretty scripted, and the quests are very scripted. So this is one of the most creative games I've played, but your choices are very limited. And I think the final thing I'll say about this game is there are a lot of secrets, and the secrets are very fun to find. They don't make your guys stronger like at all, but you can get. There's a lot of secrets in the game. The one final thing about this game I'll say is in Borderlands 2, you pretty much needed certain weapons to beat the game with. And Borderlands, well, it's not a Borderlands game, but Tiny Tina's Wonderland, you can use pretty much any weapon to beat the game with. It really doesn't matter. All the weapons are similar. They're all fun to shoot. But there's no like you need to have this gun or this shield to beat the game with. So I think the loot is a lot more forgiving. You don't need to like search the game for a certain thing. And in Borderlands 1, you really needed to get certain skills first if you wanted to survive. If you got the wrong skills, you were just dead. And in Wonderlands, all the skills are pretty solid. It's fun seeing your character evolve. And what's fun about Wonderlands is once you get to like level 15, you can start mixing and matching your skills. So that I really enjoy. The fighting is very creative. I just wish the game had more choices. But yeah, the game was very creative. I had a fun time with it. It's a very gorgeous game, and I can keep going on and on. But hopefully, yeah, I think I'll give it like a 4 out of 5. There are a lot of problems in the game. The one thing I will say positively is this game took me like a week to do everything. And I think right now it's like $30. So $30 for about a week of playing, that's pretty solid if you ask me. The prices will be different depending on where you are and what store you use. But the last time I looked, it was like $30. So that's pretty solid. again, Borderlands 2, it'd take you like a year to do everything. In this game, it took me like a week. So, and I haven't tried out all the classes yet, because there's like 7 of them. So there's still a lot for me to explore. So I'll probably keep playing the game again. So, yeah, that's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I really enjoy it. I highly recommend it to anyone who likes Warhammer. If you like Warhammer, I'm pretty sure you'll like this game. If you had a choice between the actual Warhammer games and Tiny Tina, I would choose the actual Warhammer games. There's a lot more story in there. And yeah. Oh, I want to say what the weakest part of this game is before I go off. I would say the weakest part of this game is actually the villain. The villain is very charming, but that's about it. So yeah, I would say the bad guys in this game are all very weak compared to everything else. All the bad guys are very forgettable, and they're kind of one note, while every hero character has a lot going on. So I kind of wish the villains, from what I understand, they made this during the, it said during the credits that they made this game during the pandemic, which is what, like 4 years? So I don't think 4 years was enough to give every character time to shine. And I did see in the credits that most of this game was written by a girl, which is surprising because this game is super nerdy. So I was surprised, nerdy. You just don't see that often. Nerdy girl making a game like this. So, anyways, I think that's and I didn't see Randy's Pitchford's name anywhere in the credits, which is interesting. So yeah, Randy Pitchford's name wasn't anywhere on this game, so that's interesting. But yeah, I think I can keep going on and on, but I think I'll end it there. It's a very fun game, but it's not important. I think that's the one downside. I kind of wish it was important, but it's just not. Borderlands 2 was all about story. This game had a nothing story. So that's another downside of it. But yeah, I still really enjoyed it. I still recommend it, especially the new players. I think new players will like it a lot. If you're new to Borderlands, Tiny Tina's is a good place to start out with. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll talk to you guys this week. Thanks again.